Syed Saddiq came on, I asked him about replacing race-based affirmative action with class-based affirmative action, and essentially you'll get the same beneficiaries anyway, right? But politically, that is a hard sell, right? To get that, to move away from that. Now, I think the AP has done the smart move of going to the background because of the lesson learned, and also they realized. One of the interesting things when I asked Tian Shaw, he said that even as a Chinese opposition MP, because he was from PKR, he didn't get the same level of vitriol from as his DAP counterparts did, because there is just a level of stigma associated with DAP politicians about their anti-Islamic rhetoric in the past and so on. But we have DAP has sort of moved away from Guan Eng and Kit Siang, and I say this cautiously, right? They have sort of started moving away from those, right? So maybe they can shed that image slowly as we go along. Would you guys agree with that? Ken?
Yeah, sure. I think what Greg is saying is correct, that DAP is very consciously more middle class now. Yep. It's by a function of its urban spread, its urban bastions, and it cuts across traditional racial religious lines. There's no question of that. And the other thing is, it just, I guess, in a way, reflects or reinforces my earlier point, which was that, we obsess a little about civil society, and civil society effectively is middle class, and what they're after, they don't really care who is in power, as long as a particular type of policy development, policy implementation can be done. So as a result, if it is Anwar, in power with UMNO, who cares? Yep. Does it result in the policy we want to dig us out of what is our hole? I mean, the other thing we have to remember here, a great majority of people in urban and beyond urban areas, and don't forget, Malaysia is about 70% urban, by the way. A great number of people have been badly affected by about 50% of the economy close to service sector. The last few years, smashed. Jobs have been smashed. Okay, people want to get back to some sort of pre-pandemic sort of prosperity, if possible. And a lot of people are heavily in debt. If anything, I think it's increasingly clear, and coming out through some of the analysis and evidence of GE15, it is actually a very economy-driven election result as well, over and above this so-called green wave business that people keep talking about. And I think the earlier point I was just saying about, our obsession and focus on civil society, I think is really a question that we should consider, that people are being pragmatic. They don't care so much about the betrayal, the big B betrayal part. Many people are wary about the small b betrayals, sure. But as far as they're concerned, they want results. They want results yesterday, right? Of course, that's hard to come by. But they want something to deal with the very real economic pain that's occurring now. And as a result, if this is a government that can negotiate better policy, then this is the better one. And I think people lacked faith in a past Perikatan government for policy development.
So,
okay, so were there significant numbers of middle class Malays that voted for Perikatan and PAS?
So
I think it's a mix though, that one.
So
but
if that is true, then maybe that doesn't jibe with
depends
what you
where.
just said, right?
I think no. I
maybe
think it
the
really
racial
depends
part,
where you're talking about, which seat, which region.
yeah. So
okay, how would that matter in different regions? I guess if the basis for the argument is that it's ultimately about the economy, not about race and religion, that has been hyped up, and the middle class Malays who voted for Perikatan, even the younger Malays who voted for Perikatan and PAS,
It's a protest.
what explains
vote.
their...
This is the thing. Who do you protest against? I think there's broad, widespread acceptance that part of the woes of Malaysia since GE14 time and before has been because of an unhindered alleged kleptocracy, right? Scandal, corruption equals UMNO, fairly or unfairly. And so as a result, who do you protest against? So we saw this, and I think there's enough consensus in the analysis of GE14's vote. Why did PAS sweep so much of the East Coast and Northern states in GE14? Not this one, the GE14, because it was a protest vote.